Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Complete Sports Media Podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell. We're really excited today. We're going to get to talk about some soccer, some Champions League that just finished up. And obviously the biggest news in the sporting world right now is Lionel Messi putting in a transfer request and wanting to leave Barcelona. It's it's set the world on fire. Everybody's speculating where he's going to go, and we're going to discuss this with Olivier Pheulpin. We've got him joining us. He was with us a couple of weeks ago, and we discussed some soccer and some basketball, and he's able to join us today. Olivier is the technical director for the Juventus Soccer Academy down in San Antonio. And they've been closed for a little while over this pandemic, but they're about to begin playing again next week. And I'm so glad you can join me today, Olivier. Thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome. Good morning, Darren. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm so happy you're here. So I also really hope that you could join me today and tell me that Messi's joining Juventus, and I can scoop the world and let everyone know that Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi are finally going to become teammates in this superpower that Juventus has always wanted to be.
I wish I had that scoop, man, but it's been quite interesting the last few hours for many reasons. First of all, the fact that I cannot remember a moment like this in sport, that kind of announcement since pretty much Michael Jordan. You know, it is that big. I mean, Europe is on fire right now. Every club is talking about it. I mean, my own team, Dijon, is making fun about it like, oh, come on, the secret is out. Yeah, no, they're not going to get him. They would have to sell the city to get him. But one team will, and based on what we know, it looks like Manchester City is in the lead. Manchester City coach is Pep Guardiola, who used to coach Messi for 4 years in Barcelona. So they talked last week already. We don't really know exactly what they discussed beyond the fact that apparently Messi asked him, is there a spot for me on your team? You know, can you make it happen financially, which is the big question, because Messi's value it's a crazy number. I mean, there's a clause, it's supposed to be 700 million euro, whatever that means. I have no idea. But if I can be technical with you, he has a clause in his contract that allows him to be free as long as he announced that to Barcelona by June 1st. Because of COVID, every Champions League game has been pushed back. So they got whooped by Bayern Munich 8-2. After that, he made his decision. He was done, but it was past June 1st. So I'm sure that lawyers in Spain are going to have a field day dealing with that one. The reality of it is Messi wants out. He made it official. Barcelona is on fire. They had a board meeting where, people were getting fired and quitting right and left. President doesn't want to move right now. It's a political chess game, the biggest kind you can imagine. Manchester City does have the money to do so. PSG, the French team as well. I don't know of any real contact. I mean, of course, PSG is doing their due diligence like everybody else and contacting Messi. Inter Milan is on the list. Juventus has been on the list for a while. We can all dream. The financial reality is there's only a handful of teams that have that kind of money. Even if Messi is not going to leave for 700 millions, he's 33-year-old, as good as he is, he's the best ever. Yes, he only has 1 year on his contract, and you know what it means when you only have 1 year on your contract. Your value is whatever people are willing to pay for you. And there's rumors as well that Manchester City, who has agreement with New York FC in the MLS, already has some kind of pathway for him where he would play 3 years in England and move to the MLS to finish his career as an ambassador of the game. And so, there's news every 5 minutes right now. It's quite exciting. But that's the reality. There's only a couple of teams that can really make that happen because Barcelona is going to ask for something, return. And by something, I mean everything they can get,
Yeah.
knowing that Messi is leaving. So.
Yeah. Obviously, you mentioned the contract negotiations. He was supposed to have a clause in his contract where he could become a free agent if he had made that announcement. He's been saying that because this COVID and the whole season got pushed back, that announcement can be made by the end of August. Where do you think a court would rule? Do you think it's going to rule on the side of Messi that he still can become this free agent by the end of the season? Or is it going to be by that date? Who do you think they'll rule for Barcelona, or do you think they'll rule for Messi?
I'm not a lawyer, as you know, but we are in unprecedented times, so it is what it is. It's still not going to be enough. Laws are laws. I mean, if it says June 1st, it is June 1st. But he's going to leave. You know, the moment Messi decides he's leaving, the moment he makes it official, everybody's scrambling to find the best deal out there. You know perfectly well, I mean, you've dealt with that in the NBA or in the NHL. The moment a superstar wants to go, he's going to move. You can't force him to play. I mean, I imagine the locker room, and there's a new coach coming from Holland, Koeman. If he gets there and Messi doesn't want to play for him, I mean, the season is done before they start. So they're going to have to find a way, despite what they're saying. Today they had a press conference where one of their guys explained that Messi is there to stay. We're going to do everything we can to keep him. But they cannot. The reality is the moment Messi made that official, and that announcement has been growing in the last few years because Barcelona is not getting any better. They fire a coach he liked last year. They just pretty much fire Suarez in the last few days by, if I understand a phone call. It's going very, very bad in Barcelona. And it's difficult to know exactly what is the truth, what is not. But what is clear is that the fans are freaking out and that the club has to find a solution, and that the value of Messi is so crazy that you will never get what you want, especially in an urgency like this. The clause itself is just an argument for Barcelona to negotiate a little bit more. But he's gone. He's going to leave. So, and again, Manchester City looks like they have all the cards in their hands. I do not see PSG being able to pull it because there's still financial limitation from, UEFA. They can't sign everybody. So the only way PSG could get Messi would probably by letting Neymar go. But Neymar is 28, Messi is 33, Mbappe is 21. You don't touch Mbappe. So I think only Manchester City is playing that game right now.
I see. Could it be that, honestly, that 8-2 shellacking that they took at the hands of Bayern Munich be that final straw? I mean, he's had some fights with Eric Abidal. He's obviously, really upset with Suarez. I know he, was really a big fan of playing with Neymar, and Neymar left, not too far in the distant past. But is it really over this 8-2 defeat that Bayern Munich put on them in the semifinals of the Champions League?
It's the last straw. It's the repetition of moments like this. Barcelona used to be a monster. They used to develop players with La Masia. They are not doing that anymore. They change. They have money problem. Messi, for the last few years, pretty much has been the tree that, I don't know if you say that in English, it's a typical French expression, the tree that hides the forest. Does that make sense in English? Yeah, Messi has been doing everything he can, but as good as he is, you cannot win the Champions League on your own, alone, just like he cannot win the World Cup alone. And that's why, yes, he's been tired of it. He doesn't like the way the president of Barcelona deals with all those problems. And that's about it. And there's rumors that when Koeman arrived last week as the new coach from Barcelona, he made it pretty clear to Messi that he's the coach. And that means, you're going to have to follow. And, he has to do it as a coach. It is a very difficult moment, So
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it's, such shocking news. He joined their academy at 13 years old. He's been there 20 years. It's just, absolutely stunning that he would make that move. You mentioned when we talked last time that Messi was your guy. He's one of the greatest football players, if not the greatest to ever live. How does a relationship, that was so great, this is the first time that they're not winning a major trophy in 12 seasons. So he's had a massive amount of success there. You can go over all the trophies he's won: 33 major trophies, 700 goals, just on and on and on and on. If you start, talking about all the things that he's done in Barcelona, I'm amazed that a relationship could be, headed to divorce after so much success, and just, putting him on the world map, as well as obviously Barcelona. But yeah, to hear that he sent a fax saying, I want out of here, it's just stunning news. We have one of the worst breakup stories I've ever heard in my life.
It's an official email. We all, I believe every media in North America looked at that term. What does that mean? There's no fax anymore, even in Europe. So don't go there with, Europe being, it's some kind of official email that is admitted for lawyers. And it has a weird name, I give you that. But it's funny. It's very interesting and funny because, it takes me back to Michael Jordan again. The moment Michael Jordan quit and came back with Washington, I was kind of like disgusted, but excited, because you want more. You want to see maybe if Messi can put the Premier League on fire. It's the best league in the world. Can he play at that level? Because it's a very, very physical defense. Everything is faster. There's a reason why it's the best league in the world. And I remember I had so many discussions, just like everybody else who loves soccer, about can Messi play in England? Or will they break him after 2 games? Because there's some rough team over there. And now it may happen, and it's very exciting. And I'll tell you a little story that I'm going to throw my son under the bus. He's going to hate me for this. He plays soccer college in Canada. I'm not going to say where, but that's the first thing he said. He's a college kid. He's 21, and he said, I need his jersey. If he signs with City, I need the jersey. And there's going to be millions of people that are going to want that new jersey. So basically, the investment that Man City is going to do is it's kind of like when Neymar signed with PSG. Everybody wanted to buy that jersey, and they made hundreds of millions in a week or in 2 weeks. It was a crazy number, and it's going to be bigger with Messi. So moving is never easy. As you know, I'm still in San Antonio. I followed the Spurs for many years. The idea of someone like Tim Duncan moving to another team would be blasphemy. And this is how I know they are reacting in Catalonia. Messi should stay. But you also have to understand he has nothing else to prove over there. The team is not good enough to win the Champions League, and probably not going to happen in the next few years. He's getting old. He's upset. We can only judge so far, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I know you have, allegiance and ties to PSG. You said, okay, I won't speak for you.
I used to work for PSG. That was 25 years ago.
Okay, I see. But is that the team that you were, cheering for growing up? Is that the team that, most of the people that lived around you, that was their team?
No, I'm not from the capital, and I seem to get the feeling it's kind of the same in every country. Unless you're from that city, you do not cheer for the biggest club. You do not cheer for the capital city. It's kind of like Toronto in Canada. If you're not from Toronto, nobody likes them. It was the same. It's the same for PSG. I work for them because life is life, and they're a great club. But no, it's a French thing. We're very melancholic. We're romantic. You cheer for the small one. They never win. My team is Saint-Etienne. You ask. They made the French Cup final this year for the first time since 1982, and they lost. So my team hasn't won a trophy since I was a 7-year-old.
Wow. Okay, wow.
And I'm
Oh,
still cheering.
still cheering. Oh, good for you. Yeah, I'm glad you're a loyal fan, and yeah, you're not just a bandwagon jumper that gets onto the team that's doing well and winning titles.
But the thing is, in soccer in Europe, if you love the game, you have to cheer for your, the clubs that represent your country. I understand fans, but there's a limit. I mean, when PSG plays the final, of course I'm for them. I want to see them do well. Same for Marseille or Lyon or anybody. It is for the best interest of the country.
Yeah.
That being said, Bayern Munich did completely deserve to win that final. I mean, PSG had some chances, yes, and they should have scored, because if you don't score against a machine like this, you will pay back at the end, and that's what happened. But I have no doubt that if they play that game 10 times, Bayern Munich wins 7. They're just more organized. They're a better team. I mean, to me, Bayern Munich and Liverpool are the best soccer team in the world today. And PSG has maybe the best 2 players. It's possible, but you still need to play better as a team. So they'll be better next year. They'll learn from this. I mean, losing a final 1-0, that keeps you up at night.
Yeah, that must. Yeah. Was it a redemption though for some French fans that Kingsley Coman got the goal, and he's originally from there? How did that feel for many French fans?
There's been a lot of trash talk on the social media. It's been interesting, to say the least. Coman deserves everything. I mean, he's a great player. The French national team is waiting for him to really explode and become that guy, because he has the potential. Playing on the French national team is not easy. There's so many great players, but he's there. He's right there. And it was Kerrer on the other side, the German guy for PSG. I mean, he made him dance. It was insulting at some point. So Coman had a heck of a game. He's from Paris. There's 5 French players in that Bayern Munich team. It's an interesting world we're in. You have pretty much more French guys playing for Bayern than you have playing for PSG. It's a close game. I mean, it's interesting, but I'm not a fan. I already understand what's going on, and Coman deserves all this, and Coman will move someday, and I mean, that's life of a soccer player, and just won. He deserved it.
Yeah. So before we put the Messi to bed, do you think Man City is pretty much the only place he's going to go? Should we discuss Inter Milan? Should we discuss Chelsea? Is there, there's a lot of teams putting their hand up saying, yeah, I want him. Let's get it, make it happen. Do you think basically Man City is the only team we should be discussing?
I work for Juventus, as you know, and I remember having discussion with Juventus people last year where they were telling me Juventus is trying to get Messi. Yeah, my grandma is trying to get Messi as well, but everybody's trying to get Messi. But can you do it? You need the money. You need to be in the good grace of Barcelona as well. Barcelona, is going to negotiate with whoever they want. Of course, Messi is going to push. And that's why PSG, it's going to be difficult. They have Neymar, they have the financial limitation. I do believe that, it's funny you talk about Inter Milan, because Conte was confirmed a few days ago, just after Messi's announcement he was leaving, and suddenly, it's because Messi's coming. Sometimes people, it's just coincidence. Milan, I don't see where they would have the money to do this, and the attraction to Messi is, there's only one. Cristiano Ronaldo is in Italy. Maybe Messi would like to show him who's the best in Italy, but it seems more obvious to join the Premier League and do it with Man City, because Pep Guardiola is his guy. That's when Guardiola was best. That's when Messi was best, when they worked together. And that's what sounds like the most realistic scenario. I know Barcelona is already talking about Gabriel Jesus, players from Manchester City, that maybe we can talk as long as you include the guy in the deal. So, we don't know enough yet. The only thing that is really, really clear is that Manchester City is leading right now. And if someone shows up with a fantastic offer, I mean, why not? But it has to be limited to England. And I'd be shocked if PSG gets it.
What about the other two teams that you mentioned that you consider the best two in the world right now, Bayern Munich and Liverpool? Yeah, imagine him going to Bayern Munich. Could that ever be a possibility? Or Liverpool? I know Liverpool is going to give it a big shot.
That would be unfair. That would be unfair. I mean, come on, man. You know, I don't think you need to have some kind of relationship established already, and that's not the case. There's no real connection beyond Manchester City over there. But I was thinking Manchester City will be the favorite in Premier League if they get him, and that's what I was thinking of Liverpool this morning. Like, this is probably the best team in the world with Bayern Munich. If Manchester City gets Messi, Liverpool is not even the favorite next season. And there's only one player in the world today that will change a dynamic like this. Liverpool is supposed to win the league next year because they're absolutely fantastic. But if Man City gets Messi, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we saw Kevin Durant leave Oklahoma City and go to Golden State after Golden State Warriors had won some NBA championships, and Kevin Garnett took a lot of abuse saying that, why would you do that? Why would you go to a team that's already so stacked and you can't prove that you're the reason why you've won championships? And eventually, a few years later led to him leaving because he wasn't the guy and never was the guy. Do you think there's, that type of situation and possibility with Messi? Would there be an ego that he wants to be just the leading star and wants to be the reason why suddenly he's winning all these trophies with a new team? Or that's the other scenario that just came to mind with me. Kevin Garnett leaving, going to Golden State. Everybody said this is not fair. Golden State's just going to win every title from this point forward. So do you see that parallel a bit?
If there is something there, it will be less obvious because there's more soccer player on the field. There is basketball player, and you have to be more of a team player. I mean, and Messi is a team player. He just needs to have a system around him, not because he wants to be the guy, because he's the guy. It is that simple. You got Messi on the field. You need to organize your team around him because he's not a 9, he's not a 10. I mean, he's everything at the same time. He moves wherever he wants, and you have to adjust to his movement because he will find you, or he will dribble everybody. And that's what you need to really understand when you get a player like this. You need to be open-minded. And that's why, again, Guardiola, I mean, he knows what to do with him. People will talk. Yes, there's no doubt that some people will say, oh my gosh, you're moving over there because they're winning. Who cares? I mean, the guy is 33. He's done a lot with Barcelona. He's done as much as he could. It is a little sad that he's not going to finish with them, but, life goes on. If we had that discussion 2 years ago, Darren, I would say there's no way he's ever leaving. And I would say he shouldn't leave. But there's also that other aspect. It is exciting. It is suddenly exciting to see where he's going to end up and how he's going to do.
Yeah. Just for the viewers and listeners that are not sure, talk about this financial fair play possibility that, might stop somebody like PSG being able to bring him. They've obviously got Mbappe and Neymar and all these high profile, very high paid guys. There's this financial fair play clause in there that says there has to be a little bit of a line drawn so that the lesser teams aren't steamrolled all the time. But can you explain where that line is and how does it work?
Well, I'd love to explain where the line is going to be because we are in a COVID situation where everything has been difficult. Clubs need to adjust. Money is not really there for some of them. Even the big one. Some big ones are struggling. They need to find a way to survive. That's why you see clubs like Atletico Madrid is selling players. Valencia is selling players. Barcelona is going to, there's a lot of clubs and many of them in Spain. They're selling players. They need to find a way to stay on top of that wave. It's difficult right now. I don't know the new numbers. UEFA is going to adjust that. I don't have that information yet, but it's definitely going to be interesting, and it's limited. I mean, Manchester City and PSG has been the target of UEFA for so long because they know, and that's why I was telling you earlier, PSG to me cannot make it happen.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. This COVID has affected so many teams so financially, and we've had so many difficulties. You're seeing that. So many countries. I remember going through the airport, over the last couple of years and seeing a lot of signs that say these transfer fees are actually, helping these governments out there. Being able to bring in so much money and so much taxes and that is a huge way of a government to see a lot of financial windfall, and the whole community and the city and taxpayers will feel a little bit less of a pinch because of these massive transfer taxes. That's not something that we see in North America. Talk about that in the world of soccer being such a massive way to bring money into clubs, into the city, into the government. It is just an incredible thing that happens in the world of soccer.
It is, and I remember reading an article about PSG. I'm sorry, but it's a perfect example because they're up there financially wise, and that there's so much taxes on sports in France, and that's why it was kind of nice. I'm going to start there. It was kind of nice to see two French teams in the semifinal of the Champions League because we don't have the money to keep the players. I mean, I don't have the stats in front of me, but only Brazil can fight with the amount of French players that play abroad. I mean, there's so many French players in the best league in Europe. They're everywhere. Why? Because they're good and because we cannot pay them enough in France. That's why it will be fantastic when a French team wins. But the reality is only PSG can afford it because they have unlimited amount of money. And they don't care, let's say, if, you, Darren, plays for, you make $1 million a month. That $1 million a month in France will amount to 1.4 million. And that's why it is so complicated for certain countries to deal with that market. England has found a way because they've got TV rights that are completely crazy numbers to balance that. Spain has been finding ways, that will be another chapter, for years to negotiate that. And, they always find a way. So what's happening right now in Spain, I have no doubt that most of Europe is smiling at them, saying, hey, it's about time. Losing Messi is going to be a big slap in the face of the Spanish league after losing Cristiano Ronaldo. And at some point, it's due to happen. Money has some value and some cost, and they've been kind of finding a way there. But that's the reality of European game. Germany is very solid. They develop players. French is developed players. We don't have the money to keep them. Italy is kind of in between. All the money is in England because of taxes, because of everything. And some government want the image more than the money. And that's the choice they make. And that's the reality of what it is today. And it's not going to change easily.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, going back to the Bayern Munich win in the Champions League, fantastic victory. We were able to see Alphonso Davies be the first Canadian national to be able to raise that trophy, and it got a lot of media exposure here north of your border. And it was exciting to see Alphonso, just an amazing player that was, raised here in Canada, was able to come to the Whitecaps here on the West Coast in Vancouver and, sign an unprecedented deal with Bayern. And the potential and possibility of this guy, it's really exciting for Canadian soccer fans. Tell me about Alphonso Davies and the view of him from around the world.
It's an interesting, case, because I remember when he kind of came out on the scene, he was like 15, I believe, and we start hearing about him. That's when he joined the Whitecaps pro group. And he played some games, and you could see right away that that kid had something special. And we all, it's funny. Journalists are journalists, but you also play a little game sometimes. You talk to agents, you talk to coaches, and you say, "Hey, I saw someone over there." And I remember making some phone calls to. There's a guy in Canada that you may want to keep an eye on, because he's cheap and he's going to be something. After that, you have no idea if he's going to be that player. But that's a fantastic player for Canada, because he's going to absolutely push soccer upward. And he's 19. I mean, for crying out loud. I mean, the poise, more than the physical ability and the talent and everything, is the poise. He played. I mean, he had maybe one or two plays where he got that yellow card, and you're like, okay, how is he going to handle that? You get a yellow? Nah, nothing. Another day at the office, and I'm like, that kid is 19. I mean, I'm old. I mean, that's it. He's a rock. He's a rock, and you're gonna have him on the national team for 19. I mean, if you're lucky, 13 years maybe. You need to push hard to get more of this, because this is fantastic news for Canada to have a player like this.
Yeah, no, it's really great, and obviously with the World Cup coming to North America pretty soon, Canada wants to emerge on the soccer stage. Have some games here. We've got some games in the U.S. and Mexico. It's really huge for huge for soccer locally here. Being able to have a guy that high profile, being with the Champions League winners, and at 19 years old, it shocks me. I'm not going to say this as any type of a slight towards him, but he really has looked on the pitch like much older than his age. But he posted something the other day on I think it was Instagram, that he saw that Drake was actually following him on Instagram, and he was jumping around and screaming and yelling and thanking Drake for following him. He couldn't believe it. It was the greatest moment of his life. And I'm like, oh, okay, he is 19 years old. Did you see that post at all?
No, I did not. I mean, I wish I followed more Instagram, but I was gonna joke, who's Drake? But no, I know. It's just, they're kids, but the poise that he shows, it's kind of like, I remember Kobe Bryant at the same age. The poise was there, but he was still a kid now and then. And that's a good thing. You need that balance. You don't want to be a machine and not enjoy enough. I mean, what he's doing is absolutely fantastic. So congratulations, young man. And I wish him the best and plenty of title to come. They just very, very impressive.
Yeah. I don't follow the women's game as much as I should, but his girlfriend, Jordan Huitema, is 19 years old. She's plays with PSG. PSG is actually facing Olympique Lyonnais in the Champions League final for the women. We have three.
Semi-final.
Oh yeah, sorry, semifinal. Yeah. We have actually three Canadians that are very prominent in this semifinal coming up. Kadesha Buchanan, Ashley Lawrence also plays for PSG. She's in the starting 11. And Jordan Huitema, it'll be the first time that a female and a male couple will actually hoist the Champions Trophy if PSG can upset Olympique Lyonnais, who's won 4 straight championships and 6-time champion. Do you follow the women's game, and do you know some of these names that I'm throwing out?
I know some of them. It has changed so much that growing up in Europe, and yes, I'm gonna slap myself a little bit publicly. You don't watch women game. You didn't watch women game 20 years ago. In Europe, we were a very, very sexist, country. I mean, France, Italy, Spain. It has changed drastically. I mean, I'm going to talk about France because that's what I know. People were really behind that French national team when they play the World Cup, and it is fantastic to see. So, no, I'm watching the play of the semifinal and everything. I'm watching the World Cup because the level is there and the excitement is there. And I wish that she's going to win and you're going to have that first couple, but beating Lyon is going to be quite a tall order because they are Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah.
women, that's what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the women's game received a huge boost here in Canada when we were able to get the World Cup and have so much success on a world stage. Christine Sinclair is considered one of the greatest female players to ever lace them up, and it just brought a lot of notoriety. John Herdman came in and was able to really raise the level of our national team through the women and when the World Cup's on, when very major tournaments are on, Canada does turn and watch the women's game. It's so amazing to see 3 Canadians in the semifinal game, and to be into the starting 11. Alphonso Davies is getting so much press, and so all of a sudden now. We're talking about his 19-year-old girlfriend as well. It's really great. I'm glad that they're shedding light on the women's game, and it's fun. It's really fun soccer to watch. Really exciting. They're very, very talented, and I recommend our viewers and listeners, please watch that semifinal game and on to the Champions League final. You must be seeing emergence of women locally at your academy as well, and girls taking up the game so much more because it is becoming so much more prominent in the world.
Yeah, but in the US, it's kind of, it's been there. There's US soccer, women's soccer has been dominating for many, many years. So there's no problem here. There's women playing soccer right and left, and there's a lot of talent, and they're very rough. They're very physical, very coachable as well, and it's really a pleasure to coach. But I was gonna go back to the men, if you don't mind, because I was thinking of Jonathan David that signed, another Canadian that signed in from La Gantoise to Lille in France. Watch out as well. That guy plays offense. You've got some talent in Canada, so hopefully we're gonna have fans in the stadium and the leagues are gonna play nicely and we're gonna enjoy all this. But there's a lot of movement. Messi, who's that guy? I'm dying for some soccer. I'm watching the NBA in the bubble and it's fantastic. But I need soccer games. We had that tease with the Champions League. It was great. It was short. It's time to show more game,
I know. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it wasn't enough for soccer fans to get their fix, and now the Champions League's done. It's what's next? Please bring something else on. But you did mention the NBA, and this NBA restart to the season was great. Those 8 games really started getting you a taste for playoff basketball, and then the matchups were presented to us, and it's been fun. I guess to me the biggest story in the last few days was Luka Doncic absolutely having one of the most impressive games I've ever seen in Game 4 of the Clippers Mavericks series, and at 21 years old, to be able to do what he's doing. It's shocking the world and making it just so much must-see basketball and TV. How impressive has he been for you?
It's very easy to make parallels with other European players that came before him, and I'm thinking Toni Kukoc. He's not the same player at all. I'm just discussing the status of Toni Kukoc when he was in Europe. When he was playing for Split, Jugoplastica, he was the best player in Europe. And I remember he joined the Bulls, and they kind of schooled him when he played with the national team. Pippen and Jordan went at him and made him cry, and then he joined them. Media were on him. There was that big expectation, and Kukoc had a very nice career. It was the same with Doncic, except multiplied by 10. We knew he was a freak. Coming to the US, we're like, okay, is he going to be fast enough to play in the NBA? That was pretty much the only question, because the passing ability, scoring ability of the chart. But he's amazing to see. It's like he anticipates every move. He's going to take you to sleep because he's so slow at time, and then he changed the pace, and then he attacks right, left. He can do absolutely anything, and he's big enough that he can post you up. That's why he gets all those rebounds. And he's a fascinating player. What he did the other day, he made me scream in front of the TV. It doesn't happen often. I'm pretty laid back when I watch games. I watch games like a coach. I anticipate the next play, what should happen. You're watching that timeout. You're like, there's no freaking way he's going to do this. And he does. And, you know, Damian Lillard, yes, has been doing that. But this guy who is he? I mean, he's 21? There's no limit to what he can do. And you know what was the most impressive to me was yesterday. They got whooped by the Lakers. And they're down 25 points or something. And he's on the bench. And you see his face. And his face is ready to fight every single one of them. And that's something you cannot buy. You cannot teach. He was so upset at the game yesterday. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, you know, players will tell you, oh, we need to win the next one, blah, 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 blah. There's no blah, blah, blah with that guy. He was burning inside. And you know that, you know, I don't know if Porzingis is going to play the next game. They're pretty much done. But next year, that guy is going to be the MVP of the league. I mean, how do you stop him? He can do absolutely anything on the court.
Yeah, no, his competitive fire we haven't seen in very many people. You know, that particular day we're talking about, it was, they called it the Mamba Day, being 824, the two numbers that Kobe Bryant wore for the Lakers. And, you know, there's, you know, special players like Michael Jordan, like Kobe Bryant, that, you know, come onto the court and you can just see this competitive fire. And, yeah, you see that burning so heavily in Luka. And just, you know, what he's been able to do with this Dallas team, you know, he's actually, you know, pretty severely hampered right now with an ankle injury, obviously missing his top center and Kristaps Porzingis being hurt. You know, they just don't stand a chance against, you know, incredibly deep LA Clippers team. Kawhi Leonard, you know, made that move over to LA and brought Paul George into the mix to try to win a championship in a third city. Yeah, the competitive fire just has been absolutely unbelievable and so incredible to watch. I've been so excited and yeah, just the potential year after year. They probably won't be able to advance past this series, but yeah, you know, I'm just so excited for the future of him. The other guy that I just quickly mentioned, Paul George, made a really, you know, interesting statement yesterday. He said that he was in a very dark place in this bubble. He actually sought out the team psychiatrist and really wanted to get some mental health, you know, work and try to figure out what was wrong. He felt like he was just, you know, he just couldn't function very well. I guess whatever, you know, was said worked quite well because he had his best performance of the playoffs, and actually the 35 points exceeded what he had got in those first three games combined. So, but it was really nice to hear him actually voice, you know, his concerns and the problems that he had. And yeah, how did that strike you when you heard that?
But honestly, you know, I'll tell you, I don't exactly know what was his problem. I mean, I know he talked about it, but what is he talking about? Is he just struggling because he's in a bubble? I mean, does he have family problems? Is it, you know, what's going on in the world? And by the world, I mean in the US right now. There's still a lot of riots. There was another shooting, you know, or lack of a better word, of police shooting a black man. And I know yesterday the NBA, I mean, the players erupted. I mean, there was interview after interview where, you know, it has to stop. I mean, it has to stop. And I know the Toronto Raptors, some of them, I think Van Fleet was talking about boycotting the next game. It is that bad in America. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. The NBA put themselves in that situation where they are the league that plays right now. Everybody's watching it. And yes, it's mostly a black league. There's a lot of Afro-American or black players that are in that league. So they can express, and they should express, you know, their anger right now. But they're kind of stuck in that situation where they have to keep on playing despite whatever's going on. And that's why they are upset. Some of them were talking about leaving the bubble and just say, I'm done with this. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if that's a situation with Paul George. There's a lot of things going on, and yes, as you know, there's election coming in the US. We're not there to do a political show, but it's a crazy country down there right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Obviously, a lot of the details on, what was his concerns and the things that were putting him into the dark place didn't get revealed. But, it has been really tough. 3 months ago, George Floyd was murdered by the police. And obviously that sparked, a huge amount of protests, and Black Lives Matter movement really moved into the forefront and has been, very prominent on the minds of North Americans, and starting to go around the world. That shooting of Jacob Blake, sorry, it just really shook me as well, because I thought that after George Floyd and all the difficulties there, the police would be acting on their best behavior and not escalating things like this, and a lot of the NBA players before the bubble even started were apprehensive about going in there, because they didn't think they could further the protests and the movement, and they were worried about being able to get their messages out and not support things like this, and this happened, and I think it has really rocked the whole league to its core, and Toronto Raptors have really had discussions about boycotting the game on Thursday, and trying to have their voices heard to more people. They mentioned, you said Fred VanVleet, he just said, what is this Black Lives Matter movement meaning anymore? It's on the back of our jerseys, it's on signs and things like that. But, is it really having an impact when we see this happening again only 3 months later? And the video was, shocking to watch. It really actually upset me so emotionally. Obviously, this whole thing has been horrible for most North Americans who aren't racist and who don't have problems with, the color of your skin. This is another huge moment in the world, and obviously in the NBA too, because it being a predominantly Black sport. What do you see a lot of guys leaving the bubble? Do you see a possibility of some games being boycotted, things like that?
I honestly do not know. It will be quite a statement, but it depends who does it. And do you do it individually? Do you do it as a team? You see, it's kind of like if you were to tell me the Toronto Raptors boycott the game, I don't think it's going to have an impact in the US. They'll be like, they're Canadian, we don't care. So don't do it. But we are in that weird time, and I'm trying to stay away from politics there, Darren. It's on TV. I mean, you have the Republican convention every day, and they're saying things that clearly offend a big chunk of the country, and especially Black people. So I know LeBron commented on this, and Doc Rivers yesterday had a very moving interview, and they're right on. I mean, in San Antonio, Greg Popovich has been talking about that for years. It is to the point where something drastic has to happen. And what is it going to be? I mean, hopefully it's going to be the election and just things change and that's it. But I don't know. I mean, I really don't know where this country is going right now. So I understand their concern, even if I'm just a white guy with a European accent living in this country. You see some crazy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously, the vote is super important in the U.S. and let's hope there can be some there can be some changes and they'll be able to figure it out. I feel really sorry for a lot of these guys, because I did hear that they were excited, being able to advance to that second round and have the possibility of going further. The Raptors had such an incredible run last year, went to the title. They're looking really strong this year. Obviously, that was a depleted Brooklyn team, not their full roster being able to be there, but Toronto had the first sweep in their history, coming off their best record ever in the regular season. Looking really strong in this bubble and playing great. Obviously, Kyle Lowry being hurt, could really impact that team. And, luckily they have a few days before Thursday's opening game, but they'll play Boston, who's an incredibly deep team. They swept out the 76ers quite handily. And how do you see this Toronto-Boston series shaping up? I think it's probably going to go 7, and I think it's going to be one of the best series we're going to see in a really long time.
That wouldn't surprise me, you know, when I saw the drawing, and I'm like, shoot, they have Boston in the second round. That's the tough one, because Boston is, you know, it's kind of like a redemption year for them. They should have been better last year. They have everything they need. I mean, coaching, bench, stars, everything is there. And the way they dismissed, even if, you know, Simmons was out, they just toyed with the Sixers. So Boston is really impressive, and I wouldn't be surprised if Boston goes all the way. They are that good. After that, I mean, Toronto is very, very solid, but they've lost one key player. And, you know, when it's time to get that extra basket, who's going to step up? Kyle Lowry needs to be 200% for that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he sure does. Yeah. Let's hope he's a fast healer and can get in there right away. The other Eastern Conference matchup looks like it's going to be the Milwaukee Bucks, who are up 3-1 on Orlando. Against Miami. Miami swept out Indy quite easily, you know, in my opinion. Pacers did fire Nate McMillan today. Just heard the news a couple hours ago. He wasn't able to get them into the second round in the 4 seasons he was there. They were swept out 3 of those 4 seasons, and yeah, just not enough. But speaking of a deep team like Boston, Miami is another team that has you know, so much depth. So many great stars in the front, but so many amazing bench players, great outside shooters, inside shooters. Jimmy Butler is phenomenal. Man, they're going to give Milwaukee a run for their money, aren't they?
They will, but I still believe they have to pay their due. You know, they're still, you know, apart from a couple of players, like, I mean, mainly Butler, they need to gain experience. They need to lose in the playoff, and I think they will do that. Milwaukee, they're going to have to step up. I mean, you cannot play like they're playing against Orlando. It's up and down. I mean, you cannot play like that. So I expect Milwaukee to step up. I don't think that game's going to go 7. But after that, it's if we end up Milwaukee-Toronto or Milwaukee-Boston, I have absolutely no idea who's going to come out of this. That's what's very exciting is we finally, you know, the last few years have the East as competitive as the West. I was paying attention to the West pre-playoff or whatever the name was, you know, Sacramento, San Antonio, Phoenix. There's a lot of good team, and they're going to get more players in the draft. The West is going to be insane next year, absolutely insane. But you now have the top of the East where it's difficult to say who's the favorite. You know, it's wide open, and whoever's going to come out of the East can win. Yeah, I mean, Toronto proved it last year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens again.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, obviously, you know, most of us were focusing on the West because, you know, there was the possibility of many teams getting that 8th position. There was talk of a play-in game. Memphis was really struggling, and obviously losing Jaren Jackson had a big impact on them, being able to win out of those 8 games. But there was so many teams chasing them. Obviously, Portland, San Antonio, Phoenix. Phoenix going 8-0 in the bubble was really exciting and great for them. What an emerging young team. Devin Booker looks, you know, one of the most incredible emerging guards. Yeah, you know, I'm excited for that team. Portland played phenomenal once they got their 2 big men back, and you know, it looked like they were going to, you know, be able to get in there and then give the Lakers a big run for their money. You know, talk about, you know, that race for 8th position. That was one of the most exciting things I've seen going down the stretch there.
It was, and you can also see which team benefits from being together without no distraction. And you see, I was looking at a team like Phoenix. That's probably what they need to get out of this moment. If those games were played on the road in Phoenix, all over the place, they're still young and they get distracted. Over there, they had absolutely no choice but basketball all day long, and with the team, you know, kind of like national team when they're together on the road, they stay together, you stick together, and you become tighter. Phoenix, super impressive. Are they going to be able to do it back in a normal contest? Yeah, I hope so. San Antonio was there too. You know, if I can say a name, Keldon Johnson, blown away by the talent of that kid. I mean, I know he comes from Kentucky, he's supposed to be good, but he can do it all. And you're looking at him and you're like, hey, here we go again. The Spurs got another one. And that's the kind of players, you know, it just, there's so much talent in the West. I'm trying to not forget anybody, but yeah, Portland, Damian Lillard is a monster. He's an absolute monster. I mean, you know he's going to shoot and score, and he does it in front of you, in your face, and there's nothing you can do. They have I really thought for a minute that they were going to push the Lakers to 7.
Yeah.
But they exploded. They will be there again. I mean, Portland has talent. Who am I missing? I know I'm forgetting someone in the West right now. There's too much talent.
Yeah, there's so much talent. Obviously, at that top end and at the bottom end, you know, it's super impressive. What's the feeling in San Antonio, missing the playoffs for the first time in 23 years? You know, that was an absolutely amazing run. North American sports doesn't see that because, you know, about half the teams make it into the playoffs in most of North American sports. Yeah, it was an unprecedented run. Was there a lot of you know, anger and frustration from the Spurs fans, or did they realize that it just happens to teams here and there?
You know, if you want to give value to numbers, streak have to stop at some point. You can't win 50 years in a row. You can't go to the playoffs 75 years in a row or whatever. It just, that's what gives value to it. And the pandemic kind of changed everything. So people, I mean, it was really, really bad in Texas at the same time. So, you know, you watch those games, you kind of forget about it for a couple of hours, but there's no drama, absolutely no drama. It was expected when LaMarcus Aldridge, you know, kind of, you know, took himself out because he needed surgery. That was it. It was very surprising to see them play the way they play. I mean, they're a running team pretty much now, and everybody can play any position. And DeRozan, I mean, really impressive. It took me that moment to get on board because he's ups and downs. But right now, with this team, he's the daddy of the team, and he leads. And it was nice to see. I mean, he took over games at the end, but he doesn't have to. He doesn't push it. That's the thing. When the game comes to you, you know, with flow, I mean, that's when you know you have something. So it's going to be interesting to see what San Antonio does next year. And yes, Greg Popovich will be back. I know that the Brooklyn Nets are dreaming of getting him to move over there. Popovich is not moving. I mean, he's not even moving to a big city. Let's start there. He's happy where he is, but he's not leaving the Spurs.
Yeah, well, that's great news. Yeah, Pop should never leave San Antonio. He should retire there. And
Messi may leave Barcelona, but Popovich is not leaving San Antonio. It's not crazy now.
Good news. Yeah. DeMar DeRozan obviously had to, you know, live up to replacing Kawhi Leonard, and you know that's got to be a huge burden on his shoulders. But you know, he has emerged now in his second year and played fantastic. And you say he doesn't push it. You know, I like that. You know, he plays really hard and scores a lot when he's needed. But he also you know is really good with his teammates and yeah, I think that the future is very bright for San Antonio, and you have no worries being down there. Why don't we touch a little bit onto the West as well? We talked about the Lakers, Portland. I thought Portland would push them to a 7th game, possibly have you know, the possibility of knocking off the Lakers. The Lakers didn't look good in that 8-game precursor to the playoffs. You know, it really had struggled. Don't have a very deep team as well, and a lot was riding on the shoulders of LeBron and AD. But they have played incredibly well outside of one game. They're up 3-1. I hear now Damian Lillard will not be able to play in this next game, so you know that really should take Portland out of the mix, and Lakers will move on. But yeah, surprising that the Lakers are able to handle Portland so well in this series so far.
Yeah, I mean, they rise up the intensity and the defensive level. And I guess Portland, and I'm not looking for excuse for them, it's just they played so many playoff games to get there. I mean, every game they played, those 8 games you mentioned, they were playoff games. So they had an extra 2 rounds of playoff games pretty much before they played the Lakers. And it's too much, I guess. Physically, you can see it. I mean, they got tired. But the Lakers, you're absolutely right. I'm looking at that bench and I'm like, you are one Anthony Davis injury away from losing it in the next round. I mean, they know that. We don't have to tell them, but that's why I'm not so sure about the Lakers yet. LeBron is playing a heck of a playoff right now. I mean, the same, he's not forcing it. He's really going with the flow. When the team needs it, he does it. I'm not even sure he's played better before. That's a crazy statement, but I was looking at him the other day. I'm like, I don't see anything wrong. Anything is absolutely perfect what he does right now. That might be the scary thing. But, you know, if someone gets hurt, and again, we're going to have that Clippers-Lakers confrontation at some point, it should be quite, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Houston is a pain in the butt, always been. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it emerges. Yeah, you know, I think everybody's hoping for a Clippers-Lakers. Well, not everybody, but I think a lot of people are hoping for a Clippers-Lakers final. It'll be, you know, Western final. It'll be pretty damn exciting. The Clippers, yeah, they've had their troubles with the Mavs, but you know, their defense is just phenomenal. Kawhi Leonard is, you know, just one of the most talented players. You know, you mentioned LeBron. It is just shocking that he's getting better as he ages. Most players, you know, cannot sustain this level of play, and definitely in their mid 30s, their you know, good years are way behind them typically. And you know, it's just phenomenal that a guy can continue to physically dominate. You know, just be able to keep himself at such a high level, and then all of a sudden make all the rest of his teammates so much better around him. You know, just we're going to look upon him as, you know, one of the greatest ever to play. It's too bad that he always has to live in that shadow of Michael Jordan, because if he didn't, you know, people would consider him so much greater and, you know, give him so much more props. But man, I don't know how he's got this fountain of youth and just, you know, being able to play such an amazing level of basketball at this age.
I guess he's wiser than ever, you know, and hopefully it happens to all of us as we get older. But he's always been very good at seeing on the court. But there's been moments of frustration, moment where, you know, you force a little bit, and he's not doing that at all. And it is really pleasant to watch. I mean, you look at him, he's the complete basketball player. You know, they used to be the LeBron James that will grab the rebound and go full court and dunk on everybody. That's not, I mean, he can still do it, but that's not what he does. That's not what he needs to do for that team. And that's why I'm not a Lakers fan, you know, and when you spend too much time in San Antonio, you cannot be a Lakers fan. You cannot be a Mavericks fan. And that's why what Doncic is doing is mind-blowing to me, because I love the guy and he plays for the Mavs. But to go back to the Lakers, I'm like you, I'm like everybody. I want to see them play the Clippers and, you know, and see who comes out of this.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. Yeah. Let's quickly touch on the other two series. Donovan Mitchell has been just incredible in the playoffs, leading scorer, getting 50 points in a couple of games. And the only other guys that have done that are Michael Jordan and Allen Iverson. You know, the Spider has just looked so incredible. I thought Denver was actually going to win this series. I thought they had the you know, the playoff medal, and they were going to, you know, be able to take it farther than they have. But he's been able to just throw that team on his back, and with, you know, the help of Rudy Gobert and Jordan Clarkson, man, Utah's looked so impressive, and Donovan Mitchell is playing out of his mind.
He is, and Rudy Gobert is finally, you know, also is back in contention for, I mean, he's not the defensive player of the year, but he's a threat defensively. So when you have that, you have those two positions, 1 and 5, you can go far. It's funny because you're basically saying that Utah is going to go, and I'm not convinced Denver is dead, because yes, you know, it was yesterday. I'm kind of lost with all the games. Yesterday, Denver decide to finally show up, and they have too much talent not to show up, but they're just so inconsistent. Jamal Murray, I mean, fantastic player, but you need to bring it every game. I mean, you know, they have so many players that operate the same way. It's ups and downs, and It's the playoff. You can't mess around. I mean, every possession means something. So we'll see. That game 6 is going to be quite a battle.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
I think Denver may come back. Yeah.
I shouldn't be calling Utah the victor of that series already. That's for sure. A lot of Canadians, have been talking about Jamal Murray for many years. He has not had that consistency at times when it's needed. But Nikola Jokic is, what a phenomenal talent at center. Rudy Gobert has been able to neutralize him at times because of his length and his athletic ability. But Jamal Murray has played fantastic at times. And that game yesterday, he really emerged. And you're right. They could win two straight games and take the series.
But it's kind of like when you stop saying "wow," but you're there. Leonard scored 45 points. We don't say "wow" anymore. It's just Jamal Murray will be there when he scores 40, and we'll be like, okay, we know. You need to be consistent at that level of the game, and I hope they pull it off. I mean, it would be fantastic to have a game 7 in the first round.
Yeah, sure would be. And Rockets and Thunder, it's been a great series. I thought Thunder would probably win early with Russell Westbrook being out of the mix, but Houston won those first 2 games. But then, OKC has been able to storm back and take the next 2 and really make a great series of it. Chris Paul is playing fantastic at his age. They've got, a couple of Canadians in there that are playing really great for OKC. And it's really been nice to see this become a series. Houston's trying to do this small ball thing and losing a lot on the boards, but launching 58 3-pointers the other day was incredibly shocking. And Mike D'Antoni just loves that style of basketball. But what have you thought of this series? It's been pretty amazing.
I'm biased because Mike D'Antoni, to me, it's the Phoenix Suns. He's the team that can be Steve Nash. It's that team that is exciting but cannot win. And I'm still there with Mike D'Antoni. And, I don't believe in them. This is not playoff basketball. And I know the game has changed. And that's why we have all those games at 60 points. The players score 50 like this because they shoot threes all day long. The game has changed. I get it. But you need to play defense to win. And I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched one single game of that series yet. I watch the highlights all the time, but I made a plan of watching game 5 because Chris Paul finally came to play. And you're like, okay, now we have a series and game 5 is going to be a heck of a game. And game 6.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah, I'm excited. I've watched the series it's nice to see Chris Paul. A lot of people wrote him off and said that, he goes to OKC, he's making too much money. There's no need to have him here. We're just rebuilding. We got to find another place for him. And he's been able to come in with the Canadian Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And, that backcourt has been really, really, emerging. And we've got this other Canadian last name Dort that's just been really defensive stalwart, and he's playing great. And it's good to see that they've pushed Houston into at least 6 games. And I'm super excited and looking forward to that matchup. So the playoffs have been fantastic. It's been a great week so far.
Yeah, and I'm sure you have your favorite. We all do. I mean, when you work in the NBA for so long, I mean, there's players that doesn't matter where they end up. I mean, Chris Paul is one of the nicest guy I ever met. He's not a superstar. I mean, he could be, but he doesn't have that attitude, and it's very fresh to talk to him. So I'm always cheering for that guy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, definitely one of the nicest guys in the league, and one of the reasons why he is the NBA Players Association president. He's fully respected around the league by everyone. So really nice to see him have his success in another organization. I guess let's talk about Juventus now. They released their 3rd kit yesterday, I believe it was, and it's this orange and black, very bold kit. What did you think of this new 3rd jersey?
I think I'm younger than you, Darren. I mean, bold is young and young is good. And, you you need to sell some jersey. You need to change sometimes, man. Get a new T-shirt. I don't know. I mean, no, that's, commercial trend. The third jersey for most clubs is exactly that. It's a jersey that people will buy because it's different. It's really, yeah, you wear that jersey maybe twice a year. That's what it is, and you buy it. And I'm more concerned with players' movement right now than the jersey, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, not the biggest news of the week for sure, but 9-time defending champion, looking really great. Being able to win that Serie A champion, play very, very well. Not winning a Champions League, but looking great. And Cristiano Ronaldo, being able to bring so much to that team. And tell me about this. Tell me about your academy. I know you had to shut down over the pandemic concerns, and I guess you're about to reopen this coming week. That must be really exciting for you and everyone involved in Soccer Central and the Juventus Academy in San Antonio.
It is just, and I was before I answer that one, I was going to touch on the main club. Having
Please
Andrea Pirlo, new coach for Juventus, former player Pirlo. It's quite interesting as well. It's a gamble because he hasn't coached much, but I like the gamble. Juventus needs to have someone from Juventus to coach that team, and it's going to be interesting. As far as us, I mean, it's. We're probably not that it is very interesting for people in Canada, but COVID has done a lot of damage in Texas, just like Florida and California, and we've been really delaying the moment to reopen. That's not the reality of many clubs and many sports in here. I mean, they've been practicing for a while. We pushed it to the end of the month. We're not going to do anything until the end of the month, and I think that was the right decision because 2 weeks ago there was 1,500 cases a day in San Antonio, and we are now at 150 cases a day. It's still not great, but it's much better. And we're talking about social distancing and everything and the mask. I really don't know how you do that with a contact sport. As I told you, my son plays soccer, college soccer in Canada. I know what you're doing in Canada. It is drastically different in the US. It is what it is, as the president would say. You have to find a way. I've never been in that situation, obviously, just like everybody else. But it's difficult to teach a team game, a contact game in that situation. And I really don't know how it's going to go. I mean, it's kind of like the schools are reopening. We're going to see how it goes. And the same with team sports. We have games in a month. In 1 month, we have games already. It's going to be something.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
All I have for you, it's something I really don't know. We're in the dark. And, we have all those protocols where we're going to be way more than coach. We're going to have to pay attention to a lot of new things. And I don't know if that's going to be enough.
Right. Yeah. Well, to go from 1,500 cases a day there to down to 150, I'm glad that whatever safety protocols have been put into place have obviously been working. I hope, that number can be continually reduced. We had really a lot of success, and we were patting ourselves on the back for a really long time here north of the border. And then we had a recent spike where we're getting close to 80 to 100 cases a day. And it was alarming for us because we hadn't seen those numbers since the very early stages of this. So, I know the world is a different place. Every time I go out, immediately I see people with masks. It brings it back into a reality situation. You and I watch a lot of sports, so we can get away from that and, think about other things in life. And it's really nice to be able to have that break from the world. But the reality of the situation is that, COVID has taken over the world, and we're living in unprecedented times. And I hope when you have this reopening, I hope everybody stays safe and you can, keep the kids and keep, your staff and everybody without getting the COVID disease. And it's scary. I know a lot of people that have just recently returned to work, and all the different safety protocols are just shocking that they have to do now to try to keep everybody safe and stop this disease from emerging. So good luck to you and the staff. I know it's a huge undertaking, and it's going to be, I'm sure, quite stressful. So keep safe and keep everybody there safe as well as you can. And I'm really looking forward to talking to you a lot in the future soon. And hopefully it's only good news to report.
Hopefully, yes. Thank you, Darren. Yeah.
Yeah.
And same up there. Stay safe. Keep doing what you're doing, because those are the right decisions. I mean, I think it's way too early to do anything like this, but we're kind of stuck with it. So.
Yeah. Well, we're happy here. Politically, I think we're quite happy. I know there's a lot of political unrest down there, and a lot of protests, and a lot of things that the U.S. has to go through. And being your northern neighbors, we're always tuned into what's going on down there. And I'm glad you could shed some light on it from a French and Canadian perspective. Tell us what it's like down there as often as possible. And it was a pleasure having you today. Talk soccer. This Messi situation is global. As soon as you get the inside knowledge, please give me a call, and I'll put it on my next podcast. I'd like to find out as soon as we hear where he's going and what's happened with him. I'd like to report it to my viewers and listeners right away.
Let's do that. Yeah, hopefully it's going to be soon, because I feel a little bit for Barcelona fans. I mean, it has to be so painful. If that thing drags on for weeks, they don't need that. I mean, it's painful enough in Europe with all the the COVID and everything. I mean, as silly as it is, I'm talking about COVID and Messi in the same sentence. Messi is gigantic, and it matters in people's life. So I hope they find an agreement quickly, and he moves on, and life goes on.
Yeah. Well, let's hope he goes to somebody that we it'd be amazing if he went to Juventus. Amazing if he went to PSG. We just talked about City, but I'm going to have to go get a jersey pretty soon. As soon as he makes that move, and give them some money to recoup the money that they're having to pay out. 1.5 million euros a week he makes. So that's a lot of jerseys that have to be sold to try to make up the money that he's going to take.
That's a good week, huh?
Yeah.
We should have those more often. Well,
yeah. Enjoy the basketball. Keep in really close contact with me. Text me as much as you can, especially when Luka goes for another 45, 17, and 13. They'll be pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to this end of this first round and into the second round. Obviously, we're getting some basketball fever here. There's only one Canadian team left in the NHL. That's the Vancouver Canucks. And so last year there was no Canadian teams left, and that's turned everybody's attention to the Raptors here in Canada. It was the first time that basketball surpassed hockey in popularity in the late spring, early summer. And if the Canucks can't emerge too much farther, that'll be the case again. And it'd be nice to see that. It was exciting for me to actually walk into a bar and see that there was more TVs tuned into basketball than there was to hockey. Not that I don't love hockey, but nice to see that finally people are turning their attention to basketball here in Canada.
That's good. I mean, anything that gets you going, that's good stuff. I'm going to watch some hockey when they play next.
Yeah. Okay. All the best, Olivier. Enjoy your day. I know you've got a lot on your plate. So keep in really close contact, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Have a good one, man.
Okay.
Thanks.
You too. Take care. All the best.
Bye.
Stay safe.
You too.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Holy cow. We've seen an hour and 20 minutes go by already. Holy cow. That was a really entertaining conversation for me. I hope you liked it as much as I did. It's so great to be able to talk about such a worldwide sporting, story and sensation that Lionel Messi has decided to leave Barcelona and ask for a transfer. The soccer world and the sporting world, is going to be discussing this and talking about this for days and weeks, and we'll see what emerges. Obviously, it was great to talk NBA basketball with Olivier. We go back, into the mid '90s, and so long being able to talk basketball. And the playoffs have been really exciting and fun to watch. So thanks so much for tuning in to Complete Sports Media Podcast. Please support our partners and sponsors. We've got Forever Living, Verbero, and Anchor as our main sponsors, Anchor.fm. Forever Living. Go to our website, CompleteSportsMedia.com, and you'll be able to see all the interesting things that we do here at Complete Sports Media. So take care of yourself. Enjoy your week. Look forward to seeing you very soon. Take care. Bye for now.